Hello, and welcome to the Living Scary Podcast.
The podcast where we talk about real to real horror so you can live vicariously through us.
I'm a book bound in human skin, penned by the devil, and now I'm some teen's password journal, Logan, and I like to watch and talk about horror movies.
And I'm the candied apple that got away, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder.
I almost said, and I like to live vicariously.
We've gone through that intro so many times.
Yeah,
that one was actually pretty good, though.
Yes, that one worked out really well.
Yours was a mouthful, so I understand.
Yeah, but I liked it. I feel like it was worth it, because it really gets my feelings across.
It was, yes, the first thing I noticed as well. If you haven't caught on yet, we're doing a movie review of Hocus Pocus 2!
Yay!
If you didn't look at the title of the episode.
Yes, this was definitely one that we've been looking forward to for a long time. It's been whispering forever.
Whispers and murmurs.
Yeah, it's like, God, when did they say they were going to do it?
It's one of those things where I'm like, that's bullshit. They're not actually going to do it. Like, someone says some shit and you're like, nah, that's not real.
According to development, I'm on the Wikipedia just to check, but according to like the development section, it sounds like this was like kind of like started in like 2014 and has kind of been going
damn bitch
since. And like at first, like Tina Fey was gonna do it, and then
that would be good.
Like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff about it. So,
and then I'm assuming Tina Fey didn't do it.
No, she ended up not.
Damn it.
But yeah, no. So we're talking about Hocus Pocus 2. Definitely one of the more anticipated. I shouldn't say most, but one of the more anticipated movies to come out this Halloweeny season.
The spooky times season.
Spooky times, indeed. I mean, Hocus Pocus, the original, is probably one of my favorite Halloween Halloween themed movies. I don't want to specifically say horror movies or like spooky.
Oh no, yeah, it's not a horror movie.
Specifically, like a Halloween special, like that. That's one of my favorite like Halloween movies.
I think it is probably one of the best, like,
especially in terms of like
children's,
Disney Channel kind of
yeah, like a children's Halloween movie because it's kind of scary, but also child friendly. Hilarious and amazing for all ages, I think. I would say
I would for the first movie, yeah.
That first one is gold.
This one is like a strong silver, maybe.
I liked it.
I liked it. I thought like, let's get this out of the way. I enjoyed it. It was cute. It made me feel I had a good time.
I did have a good time.
I did have a good time. I had problems with other things, but
my problem, I think, is similar. They had the Incredibles 2 effect, where you wait 12 fucking years to watch the Incredibles 2, and your mind is abuzz with all that they could do with the Incredibles 2. And then you watch the Incredibles 2 and you're like, wasn't that
it's just never going to live up to your expectations.
Like when I first saw Incredibles 2, I was like, I didn't even like it. And then
I can't even remember anything that really happened in Incredibles 2.
I rewatched it like a year later with Brendan again, and I was like, oh, that's actually really good. I just was mad because I waited so fucking long.
I think I watched it on the plane ride to Hawaii. Because I think it was one of the movies that was on Hawaii. Like, I think that's when I watched it.
And you were...
I was nonplussed.
All right. Yeah.
I was very much like, yes, there were some good moments in it, and I liked some of the stuff.
I was like, you just build it up too long. People are like, oh, I can't wait for Hocus Pocus 2. The first one's so good. And then you're kind of like, oh, all right.
But yeah, no, I definitely think that there were things that I enjoyed about this movie. I'm glad that they were able to get Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy back together to do the original Sanderson sisters. I'm glad that that happened, because the movie just wouldn't have been the same.
The movie wouldn't have happened.
No, it's like, yeah.
That's not even... Hocus Pocus is those three.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the only reason anyone watches it.
Yes.
Sorry,
Max. Sorry. I do love Thackeray things, but I do love those yabos. Also, another thing about this one. The other one, it had like funnier adult things that were happening. This one was like baby washed. Like...
This was the defanging of the Sanderson sisters.
Everything was
Like there were the Sanderson sisters while they were like trapped, like they had been brought back and they were like from the 1600s and they were now in the modern age of like 1992 or whenever they were actually taking the movie was actually taking place. 1992 is just the year it came out. And but there was still like a threat to them. Like they were still a threat.
They were still a threat. They were still trying to kill children.
Yep.
There was a book made of fucking human skin. There was a boy who had been trapped in a cat's body, living a hellish existence, eating rats and shit.
For almost 300 years.
And he was like, oh, I'm never gonna like ever be a person again. My sister died on screen. And then they hung the witches on screen as well.
On screen.
So,
which
like,
was pretty intense.
There's so much, like, even though it's for kids, like, scary, more adult-themed things. And this one was just, like,
it was like
I could show this to a 3-year-old, and they'd be like, yay, look at the lights. So,
also, there was definitely in this one, I felt a very firm separation of, like, because in the 90s, Hocus Pocus, there was definitely a huge emphasis on the Satanism.
Yeah,
where it's like the Sanderson sisters like explicitly like got their powers from Satan. They came back from hell. They literally at one point worship a guy who they think is Satan. I
love that.
It's a great bit. And then this one, it's like magic is the power of friendship.
It's and the love that you have.
Yeah. And it was just like, get that the fuck out of my fucking face. Like I was
Boo.
I was like, boo.
Putrescence. Bring the devil on screen.
Exactly. Put Satan on the screen. But
yeah, so that was my initial thought, was just up it a little bit in the age factor, you know?
It was cute. It had its moments that definitely made me laugh.
Yes.
And then I will so should we just go through the story? And
let's go through it. Well, we have to first go through the cast, even though we already know who the main people are.
Yes, of course. We have the legendary Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. Legends all. After that, I really have no idea.
And then there's a fall off. Okay, well, obviously there's Doug Jones. They had to get Doug Jones back to play Billy Butcherson because he was the most important.
Yeah.
Fucking love Doug Jones. That
Tony Hale, the guy who played the mayor, he's definitely been in things. Like I recognized him immediately.
He's a big deal, I think.
Isn't he in Arrested Development? Yes, he's in Arrested Development. That's what I
won these, mother, from Army.
From Army.
I love him so much.
There is another person who's like the mother witch or whatever who actually is a pretty big deal. She's also been in a lot of stuff. But like I'm looking at the top cast, it doesn't even credit her, and I'm just like, hello.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, who the fuck was
there she is. Hannah Waddingham. She's actually been in a lot of stuff too. Like she was in I'm trying to think I'm looking at her thing right now. But there is one thing that because Charlie was like, what, Logan, you don't know that she was in this? And I was like, no, Charles.
Why would I know that?
Oh, Game of Thrones. That's what she was in Game of Thrones.
Got it.
There's another thing though that she was in that was like oh, no, that can't be it. Well, because she was in Into the Woods and it says she's the witch. And I'm like, no,
she fucking
Meryl Streep was the witch.
Yeah.
That must be a different that must be a different Into the Woods. Maybe it was the stage.
Maybe.
But like, yeah, it looks like so. But I was talking to one of my friends too, and she knew who she was too. And so, but she apparently definitely has a big following as well. So I think that, and she only had like one scene, so I think they kind of underutilized her talents.
Well, it sounds like they're going to make a third one with this group of girls, and they're probably going to be against her, is what Brendan said. Because he was like, that they're not going to obviously have Winifred, and they're not coming back. So they're going to have a third one, and she's going to be the witch they're against.
And I'm going to, we already said it. This movie is a thing only because of them. So I really
don't need it.
I don't need it.
Don't want it.
Don't want it. It's like,
And there is Whitney Peak is Becca. She's the main girl. Belissa Escobedo is Izzy, her friend. And then Lilia Buckingham is Cassie, another friend. So they're like the main teen roles.
You also have Sam Richardson, who is Gilbert, who is an unnamed character, like who apparently was around in the first one, but we never saw him or anything. I don't know.
Huh. But yeah, so the movie starts with a flashback to does it start
1653?
With
Yep, it starts with back to 1693 or 1653 with Winifred Sanderson being banished from Salem
to the scary woods because she didn't want to marry some other teen.
Das Verboten.
That's kind of it. They're going to take her sisters away from her and they're going to banish her to the woods. And then they all just say, fuck it. We're all going to leave together because sisterhood. And then they all go in the woods and they get...
Because sisters.
Because we're sisters. And then they meet a different witch who's like, here's the skin book. You got magic.
Yeah, and everyone's everyone's like, she's dressed in the outfit that it's a reference to Danny from the first one. I don't care.
Oh, I don't care. I didn't get that. No, I don't care.
No, because Witch Mother bitch isn't the one who gave Winifred the book.
No.
Satan himself.
Satan is!
Like, literally in the book, it's like, it was given to Winifred by Satan himself. Like, I believe Thackeray Binks says it.
Not some hot bitch in the woods.
Yeah, not exactly.
A moistened bim throws a scimitar at me.
Exactly. And she's like already gonna like suck their souls out of children, and I'm just like,
it was such a 180. This witch comes into out of nowhere, and she's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And then Winifred's like kind of magic-y for a second, and she's like, "Oh, never mind. Here's my magical, powerful book. Anyway, see ya, kids." Like,
also here's this spell that was in this book that is by Satan, and for some reason Satan put a spell in there for you to not do.
Why would you write a spell book and then say, "But don't use it though"? Like, it's like making a cooking book and being like, "Never cook this.
Don't use eggs."
Well, why would you put the recipe in there, you dumb fuck? Like, So, that's the flashback. The girls who were the young versions of the Sanderson sisters did do a really good job, though. They were...
Oh, yeah, the girl who did Winifred did a really good job. She had a lot of Winifred's idiosyncrasies down that I thought were good.
Mary did a really good job of doing the mouth thing.
The mouth thing, yes, she did.
I did like it. So then we go back into today's world, 2022, and Becca, the main character, is an unlikable bitch.
Hocus Pocus is the original Hocus Pocus was made in 1993. I was giving false information at the beginning.
Oh my god, we look ridiculous now. Oh. But did you think Becca was an unlikable bitch the whole time? Or was it just me?
I thought all of them were. I thought all of them were. Like, I couldn't stand any of them.
Every time the kids were on screen, I was like, oh my god.
They had none of the charm of the original kids.
The original kids, I was talking to my friends.
Like, all three of them were just feuding catty bitches the whole time.
Okay. So I was talking to my friends, Derek and Kelly. We all watched it together, and they were like, I think it was very similar to the other kids, you know? Like, the kid part, they're just, like, unlikable. It's very similar. And I don't agree, because Max was dealing with a tangible, like, problem. He moved from California to Salem. He's in his teens. He doesn't know anybody. He's feeling angsty. There's bullies. His sister's annoying. Like, all of that was kind of reasonable on why he would be kind of cranky. And Becca, her friend got a boyfriend and doesn't hang out with her as much. So she's basically icing this girl out and is mean to her and her boyfriend.
And we don't find out until like later on that it was like, she's like, I invited you to hang out. And she's like, yeah, but with your boyfriend. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you actually kidding me right now? It's like, even if you didn't want to hang out with her boyfriend too, couldn't you just have like see your friend as a person and be
A
like,
person.
hey, I would love to hang out with you. Is it possible that we could just have like a girls' night?
Or
And I'm
like,
sure she'd be into it.
yeah, or
Especially if you
just
guys are
like,
as good of friends as if she's not as good a friend, then she'll say no, and then you can move on. But yeah, just like you were saying, she was just icing this girl out for no reason, I thought.
yeah, this poor girl who's I don't even know her name. Cassie. She gets this dumb boyfriend who, okay, he's stupid, but I don't actually think he's ever mean either.
In fact, he actually does say like one of the girls is like pointing out other people's differences isn't nice, and he's like, I just was making conversation. I didn't realize I was being mean. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah. Also, so they have like a whole interaction. They're in school. They're in a classroom, and Becca's being an unlikable bitch, and like this dumb jock boy.
She is literally being the girl who like has the crystals.
Oh my God.
And acts like so taken aback when someone asks her what the crystals are, and she's like, "You wouldn't understand.
You don't even get it. It's like, well, yeah.
What
the fuck
That's
are
why
the
I'm
crystals
asking.
for?
That's why I'm asking. I want to know about it.
So yeah, this guy is just like talking to her. I felt like he was just having a conversation with her.
I did too. I was like, why are you giving him this ice?
Why are you so mean?
It's like, no wonder Cassie doesn't want to hang around you.
Also, if you don't want to talk about the weird rock you brought to class, maybe keep it in your fucking pocket. Like,
yeah, instead of putting it out on your desk.
And being like, I don't even know why everyone's talking about my rock. Will you put a weird rock on your desk, dumbass? Okay. You do you, Becca. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like the kids in middle school who would do like something really weird and then act like, why is everyone asking about this thing? It's because you want attention. You want attention.
Yeah. You picked your nose and you ate it. Like, what'd you think people were going to be like? Oh, that's cool. Just let her do her thing, I guess. Like,
I remember a guy in high school, by the way, he popped a zit and ate it.
I hate that story.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry. But back to Becca.
Also, really quick sidebar. I did math. Okay. So the beginning of the movie takes place in 1653.
Yes.
With Winifred getting kicked out with her sisters. I think by the most liberal of estimates, we can probably say that they're probably like maybe 13.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say, yeah, probably like in their like early teens, like so probably like 13 years old. When they get killed, like when they get hung for stealing Emily Binks's soul, that was 1693. They were probably in their 50s.
Damn.
So they were in their 50s, and they looked like they did, which was begotten. They looked terrible. So either witchcraft drained the life out of them or what. But like, yeah, no, so they were fully in probably their 50s when they killed Emily Binks.
It might just be like a Mother Gothel kind of thing where your age goes away faster if you don't like keep it sucked in. I don't know the rules.
I don't know, but they like the math ain't mathin', in my opinion.
I'm not the devil himself. I didn't make the rules. But yeah, so Becca, it's her birthday, and her two friends, she only has two friends because she's not very likable, Izzy and Cassie.
Oh, Cassie isn't really her friend anymore at this
point.
point.
Anymore, but they had a tradition where they'd go into the woods and like
do
witchy shit. I don't know. So they're not going to invite Cassie this year because we don't like Cassie. And they go to the magic shop and we meet a new character who is actually a guy that is a big name. Yeah. Sam Richardson. He's a guy.
Yeah. He does stuff.
He's cute. I like him.
I do too.
But he owns the magic shop, which was the Sanderson sisters' house.
I like him. Didn't care for his character.
I didn't either. I was like, what are you trying to do with this guy?
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand.
Either lean into him bringing them back, which we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And have him like be evil. Like do a Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
This movie was half-assing everything, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, this movie did not whole ass either way. It's like either go completely like goody two shoes, little like Sunday school family Halloween, like trunk or treating at the Latter-day Saints church. Like,
Oh, I
give me,
love
is it
trick or
either
treat.
go that way or go the way of the original Hocus Pocus.
The way of
Don't give
Satan
me,
himself.
yeah, don't give me this middle ground bullshit where everyone's kind of morally gray and like, it's like, no, 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 no.
So we're introduced to Gilbert, who gives her a candle for her birthday
I'm sorry,
because
if everyone's morally gray, the movie is gray and the movie is boring
is
and it's without
boring.
color. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's
think
that one
anyway.
episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where everyone's gray.
Yeah. There are ways I think to have like like you can have characters, individual characters be morally gray.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have characters who have those like higher drives one way or the other, everything is just very bland. And that's what ended up happening, I think, in this movie is there weren't like in the original Hocus Pocus, the witches were evil. They were stupid, but they were evil. Like, and they
Yes.
were like, we're going to kill them.
And that's how we like
And
our witches.
yeah, and the kids, while they were also kind of stupid kids, they were also very much like a we have to stop the Sandersons because we brought them back. And like they were very much like on the other side.
And they're good.
Yes. So it's like we definitely had the good versus evil going on where it's like everyone here is just like, wow, I guess everyone's just kind of doing whatever, man.
Just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go into the woods to light their free candle. And oh
Yes,
my
sorry.
god, it's a black flame candle. What?
But
And they bring the Sanderson sisters back, which is that felt quick to me,
which
by the way.
also, again, going back to the Satanism kind of stuff, the black flame candle is also made of the fat of human beings, like dead corpses. So
That
are
is a
you
good
telling
point.
me that Gilbert got the fat of dead humans to make this candle?
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. I remember them saying that. Oh fuck, Gilbert. Why didn't they make Gilbert evil?
Yeah. So it's like, I'm sorry, you can't just like make this out of wax. Like the black flame candle is like evil, evil, evil. Like,
Yeah, they basically just they did it later by being like, "Oh, Gilbert had access to the book and the book told him how to do it. We're not going to delve into the instructions on how to make it at all." But he did
not
it.
at all. He did it.
Oh man.
And even though we know exactly what made the black flame candle, we're not going to tell you about it because we're hoping that you forgot about it in 1993.
We're really hoping you didn't watch these back to back.
You would get such whiplash watching these movies back to back.
It is, yeah, they are not the same feel at
This
all.
movie is banking that you have not watched the original Hocus Pocus yet this Halloween.
You have a vague notion of what the movie was 10 years ago.
I feel like us talking about it makes it sound like we really did not like this movie.
I liked
actually-
it still.
I still liked it. It was cute. I'm not like sitting here. I'm pointing out these things because I'm a huge fan of the original Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
And so these inconsistencies are just
Blatant.
really blatant. You wrote a bad song, Petey. It's like it's bad storytelling. Like inconsistencies is the one way to make your audience like kind of tune out and not believe anything you say.
Yeah,
like,
it makes me not be like, I'm
not invested anymore because I'm like, okay, so there's no real threat.
So it's the candle's not made out of human fat. Well, then I don't even care.
It's made out of stuff and it looks terrible. Okay, sounds good.
Whatever, I guess.
Basically, the Sanderson sisters are back.
They're back, and they're fucking great. I love them.
I love them. They do a weird music number.
They do a weird music number, and I'm like, is this a musical? Like, are they going to actually...
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, is this going to be a musical?
And I got really excited for a second, and then that was it. It was just a really weird half song.
Yeah. And they had a moment, because like the girls are trying to get away, and they have a moment where Sarah Jessica Parker jumps out and scares them, and they do a close-up on Sarah Jessica Parker, and whoever did her fucking makeup needs to be shot. Not really. This is a joke. I'm being hyperbolic for humor. But holy shit. They did a close up and I said, hello, season 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Hello,
Yikes.
early 2000s drag queen. Like it was the eyebrow going into the eye crease. Like it was, I was like, woof.
Whoa.
Wow.
Sorry, Sarah. It
I'm
wasn't
sorry,
a look
whoever.
this time.
No, it was not.
Sashay away.
I mean, I think that they all still look great.
Oh yeah, they actually looked really good.
Kathy Najimy has clearly lost a lot of weight
Oh my gosh,
recently.
yeah.
So I don't know if I don't know if they padded her for it to like make her look like Mary for the first one. I feel like they might have.
They needed to do more padding then. If they're going
Yeah.
padding, I would request more then.
Yeah.
Come on. Again, if you're going to do something, go all the way. Make her look plump like she was in the first one.
Now, if we're talking about their looks in general, I actually was kind of I saw like someone talking about their costuming, and like all of them were kind of based off of like different kinds of witches, like all their costuming.
Ooh.
So like Sarah's, like she had a lot of like her original costume had a lot more skin showing. Like she had her bare legs showing. She like a lot of tulle, and a lot of chiffon, like that flowed really well. So it was very ethereal. It was very like siren-y, which is kind of representative by her powers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Kathy Najimy's character actually kind of based off of more of like that, like the witch that like lives out in the woods and is like kind of like getting herbs and stuff for potions and poultices.
Okay.
And you can see in like the detailing, there's actually a lot of places where you like hook on like bags for collecting ingredients.
I fucking love that.
Which, in addition to her like kind of being like kind of like having those like dog kind of qualities where she's like "Rawr," every once in a while, and she clearly can sniff things out. It's like it makes sense that she's probably the one to go out and fetch the ingredients for their potions and stuff. And then Winifred, of course, was based more off like a traditional sorceress kind of thing, where it's like her lines are very clean. There's a lot of snake details in a lot of her stuff, so I think that it's very. So like I saw a thing that was talking about that, and I thought that was kind of cool.
I love that. That's really cool. Also, in this one, okay, in the original Hocus Pocus, they were all witches and they all had witch powers.
They had like their specialties.
They all had their specialties, but in this new one, they kind of made it seem like the other two didn't have any powers at all, and Winifred was kind of the only one that had magic.
I got that vibe too. It's like, no. It's like they all had their roles to play. It's like, because, like, especially, well, here's the reason why. Because they had to kind of take away their powers because their powers were very focused on them finding and eating kids.
Yes.
Whereas they kind of had to, like, roll that back for this new thing that they were going to do. So like, yeah, so in that way, they kind of did retcon like Sarah's ability to charm and like beguile. And they did kind of get rid of Kathy Najimy's ability to kind of sniff out things because they went and sent Gilbert out to go, like, I mean, no, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
They sent Gilbert out to go get the ingredients for the things where it's like, no, like normally that would probably be Mary who goes out and does that.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you had the same. They can still fly and all that shit, but like,
to be fair, Winifred always had like the electrokinesis kind of thing.
She was always the emperor. Like, we all know that.
Oh yeah, she was always unlimited power. Like,
but the other ones, when I was a kid, I thought of them all as witches, and in this one, they really made it seem like Winifred's the witch, and the other two are just kind of there next to her. Being evil.
Like not having any powers themselves.
And I didn't love it, but
and then it kind of carried over at the very end too, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, we keep getting sidetracked. So they fall for the same spiel as basically the other one, where the witches are like, hey, you're kids, we're gonna eat you. And the kids are like, no, we're witches from the future, and now you can go to CVS and it
was a Walgreens, children, thank you.
Whatever. They're like, I did think this part was pretty funny. So
I thought this was kind of funny, yeah.
They go to the Walgreens and they show them the youth and beauty section, and they're just eating lotion and shit, and it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, and then we get to the kind of point, like the kind of like where we get to the plot of the story where so we get to see a picture of like the mayor of this town. Of Salem, Mayor Trask. Well, and it turns out that Mayor Trask is a descendant of Reverend Trask, who is the one who kicked the Sandersons out of Salem back in the day. So it was very much like they're like, all right, we need to get revenge on him. And I'm like, wow, this is a very convenient way for you to not have to
Forget
bring
all
in,
of the other shit that happened.
yeah, to get because none of the other characters are even in this.
No, which is a
None of the
bummer.
characters from the original one are in this, which was a huge bummer. I was really hoping that it was gonna be like we're back and we're specifically gonna fuck you up.
I would love that.
We're gonna kill you, Max and Danny and Yabos.
And Yabos. So they take the girls to their old house, which is the magic shop, which is where Gilbert is. And we find out that Gilbert is the one that did it on purpose. He had a virgin like the Black Flame Candle because he saw them very far away at age 12 and was like, that's my life's mission, is to bring them fucking back. And then the kids are like, no, they're evil and they eat children. And that's kind of like been the whole rhetoric around them this whole time. And he's like, no, I think they're secretly nice, which is wild. Their book is made of human skin and he's read it.
Yeah.
And it's all about eating kids and shit. And he's very shocked that they are mean.
Very shocked that they are mean. But I don't know.
I don't know. But they're like, go get all of the ingredients for this magic potion that's going to make us super ultra mega powerful. Like, they're going to go Super Saiyan about it.
Yeah, they're going to, yeah.
Or something, I don't know. And so he has to dig up their lover to get his head for the thing, and that's where
Billy Butcherson comes back.
Billy comes back. I love Billy.
Well, and we find out that when Billy went to sleep at the end of the first movie, he really never did. He just has been sitting in his grave awake for the last 20 years.
I needed him to be crazier. If that's how they're gonna play it, he needs to be insane.
Yeah.
So that's Gilbert. Gilbert's doing that because if he doesn't get it by the time the timer runs out, he dies, I guess.
Yeah, there's like a big old Wicked Witch of the West-esque hourglass.
It is like that. I love that hourglass. And then the girls are trapped in like a basement or some shit. And then, it turns out Becca has witch powers and she gets them out. What?
Well, we don't really get... No, it's her friend is the one who figures out the way to get out of that basement in Gilbert's shop.
But her friend can't make it work because she doesn't have special magic powers.
Which is also bullshit.
Which is fucking bullshit. It's bullshit, Snape. But yeah, her friend, they had like some herbs they got from the shop that are supposed to like save you from curses. And her friend is like, let's use this to get us out of this magical prison. And Becca like rolls her eyes like she didn't bring a fucking rock to class. And she like, her friend uses it and nothing happens. And then Becca uses it and then sparkle magics happen. And then, they're out. And they're like, that was weird anyway. Let's keep going. And I'm like, well, okay. We're not going to
talk about that?
We're not going to dwell on that for too long. We all know where that's going. So the Sanderson sisters are now after, what's-his-face?
Mayor Trask, because they need his blood.
Oh, yes. The blood of their enemy.
To do the Magica Maxima spell.
And
the maximum overdrive spell.
Yes. And it turns out, the mayor is Cassie, their ghosted friend. That's her dad. So they have to tell Cassie. Now we have to actually talk to Cassie. Oh, no.
But there's a big Halloween carnival going on. And wouldn't you know it, there's a Sanderson Sisters Halloween costume contest.
Of course.
And the Sanderson sisters ironically lose, just like when Dolly Parton lost a Dolly Parton lookalike contest to a drag queen.
I kind of love that. That was pretty cute. I liked that. And then they do another musical number.
Not nearly as good as Put a Spell on You, like Jesus Christ. But at the same time,
they didn't have a chance.
I don't think they're never gonna. There is no way they could.
I can't blame them for that. They did the best that they could, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I blame no one other than whoever decided the song.
That was a weird one.
It was
I'm gonna
Blondie,
get you. And then they make the audience go find
one way or another.
The mayor.
It was Blondie. That's Blondie, right?
Maybe.
Is one way or another?
Who's to say? I don't know.
Who's to say?
So they have the audience doing their musical number.
Blondie.
Okay, it's Blondie. to go find the mayor, who's just waiting in line to get a candy apple. He's just really sweet.
And he doesn't get it.
He never gets it. And that's the end. I was like, that's the end of her story arc. He just goes to bed disappointed, I guess.
Yep. Well, yeah, because they end up catching the Sanderson sisters in Cassie's garage.
Which
in
again,
a circle of salt.
Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Where are we at?
No, I think we're at the same pot. Because, well, if you're talking about Mayor Trask coming home and not having his apple.
Well, I don't know. Is that... Oh, God.
Because basically they sing their song one way or another to convince they manage to enchant all the citizens to help them find the mayor.
Yes.
And then Billy and Gilbert are out looking for the spell ingredients.
Oh, okay. No, and I remember. And the girl, Cassie's having a party at her house that she's not supposed to have, which her boyfriend, who's so mean to Becca and Izzy, invited them to very nicely. He was like, you guys should totally come. And they were like, we're not going to your
they were like, we did,
jock
well,
party.
They were like, we didn't know about it. And I'm like, okay, well, then that's back on Cassie then, because she's the one that didn't invite it.
Oh, well, it's kind of like you didn't answer any of her calls and were kind of ghosting her, and she didn't think that you'd want to come because you've been bitches this whole time.
Because y'all have.
I fault Cassie has done nothing wrong. But anyway, so they call their mayor friend's dad and say, hey, Cassie's having a party. And he shuts the party down. They go to the house to save the mayor and trap the Sanderson sisters in a circle of salt. And we made it.
Because salt has way more power in this movie than it did in the first one.
Way more power. The other one, nothing really happened. This one, a force field comes out.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Could have been technical limitations, but...
Maybe. But that worked pretty slick. And then one thing that was really cute is the Sanderson sisters all have different brooms again because they don't have theirs. And there's no brooms left at the Walmart or Walgreens. So Kathy Najimy gets two, what are they called? Roombas.
Two Roombas. And she rides them like rollerblades.
I fucking love it. And
I thought that was pretty funny.
The Roombas fucking save the day and suck up the salt. And then they're free. And I was like, clever. Smart and clever.
Indeed.
So,
but then they're able to, they snatch up Cassie.
Because she's kind of their enemy, I guess.
Yeah, because she's got the blood of the Trasks. And they take her off to the Forbidden Forest. And Gilbert has gotten all the ingredients. And this is kind of where they figure out that Becca is also a witch. And I'm like, again, here's another part that I take umbrage with. It's like, I'm sorry. The only reason that the Sanderson sisters are witches in the first place is because they sold their souls to Satan.
Again.
Yeah.
I cannot say this enough.
I cannot stress this enough. It was not because you were some just special little girl. It was because because I would argue they're not even witches. They're warlocks. They sold their souls. They made a pact.
I don't. It's so
like in terms
lame.
of D&D, they would not be wizards or they would not be sorcerers. They would be warlocks because they've made a pact.
In terms of D&D, they actually wouldn't be witches. But yeah, so I don't know. Becca's got powers for no reason and it's stupid.
For no good goddamn reason. And then none of her friends have powers.
And yeah, no, fuck these other girls. They're not special like Becca is.
Which is another thing I took umbrage with. Because like we were talking about before, Sarah and Mary both have powers. Like they both have abilities.
Yeah. Anyway, they go to the woods. They try to save Cassie. They get her away. But
and then here's the other thing. Well, they partially cast this spell, and it's just enough that now Mary, because if you watch Hocus Pocus, you know that Winifred can always kind of shoot lightning, and the lightning can also kind of like do kind of telekinetic things. Now, all of a sudden, Mary and Sarah can shoot lightning too.
Because they have to, the magica spell.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like that they all have their little like color palette. Mary's is red and Sarah's is purple. I like that.
I did also enjoy that. But then, so they kind of are starting to do this. And then they have like a moment where Becca is able to distract them. And Izzy is able to rescue Cassie. And then Becca. Becca manages to convince this book made by Satan that it doesn't have to answer to Winifred, even though it was literally made for Winifred by Satan.
By Satan. Like,
and the book is like, okay, bye-bye.
Yeah. Apparently the book hasn't liked his deal with Winifred, and he's like, I'm looking for a new job. I'm looking for a new boss. Becca, you're just the breath of fresh air I need. I need a 15-year-old to make candles out of human remains and shit,
Yeah. Well, and then then we find out that there is a clause to the Magica Maxima spell, and whoever casts it must give up what they cherish most. And I think you already can figure out what Winifred cherishes most.
And your eyes are already rolling into the back of your head.
Because I'm very sorry. Because the girls go to warn Winifred, and Winifred already completes it, and Sarah and Mary fade away to dust.
No.
Because they're what Winifred cherished most. And I'm like, I'm very sorry. What Winifred cherished most was power.
It was power. I thought that book was going to go away because that's where all of her power came from.
And I thought that she was just going to be mortal.
And I assumed that that's why the book didn't want her to do the spell, because he didn't want to go away and fade into nothingness. But no, the book just thought it would hurt her feelings that her sisters left. And I was like, son of a bitch.
So then I also thought that would have been a better way if book went away. And then all of a sudden, Sarah, Mary, and Winifred are human. They're just human now. And then they have to kind of go from there. If you really want to go for that Disney, oh, now everyone, no, it's like, oh, everything's so sweet and nice now. It's like, yes, and make the Satan book go away. And now they can,
But
no, what happens is Sarah and Mary turn to dust, and Winifred is like, please use your new witchy witch powers and save her sisters. And basically they do a spell together that casts reuniting, and basically it sends Winifred to be with her sisters. So what I get from that is that it sends their souls screaming back to hell.
They just straight up, I won't lie to you. I was like, aw, that's sweet that she wants to be with her sisters. Yeah, it happened. All right. I did it.
I also was like, oh, because it's a case of an actor elevating an irritating script, because Bette Midler does a great job.
She did a really good job, but it was still kind of like, ugh.
Yeah. It's one of those things where when I'm not watching Bette Midler act it out like the icon that she is, I am less satisfied with what happened.
Yeah, going through it word for word sounds much worse than actually watching it, which was kind of like, oh, that's sweet.
But at the time it was sweet, but it's like if you're looking at it wholesale based on the whole series and Winifred's motivations as a character, it makes no goddamn sense.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
And you were saying it before, where it's like, you were saying it like, you were like, this is either going to go one of two ways.
I wanted her to just then the real climax of the movie is that now that the girls have realized they have powers, they have to fight Winifred, and now she's drunk with power. Her sisters aren't holding her back anymore, and it's crazy. And no, it's just ended. It's just over now.
Ooh, send me back to my sisters.
Yeah, the girls they're all friends again because
they've sold their souls to Satan.
Satan brings everyone together.
Right.
And that's
Billy Butcherson gets to go back to bed.
Yeah, Billy finally gets to fucking go to sleep. That's it.
Oh, and then the fucking Mother Witch Crow flies by.
Yeah, so singing the songs of a horrible new sequel that will be coming soon.
Which, God, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Because it's like this movie. We said it when you're talking it out, we're parsing it out word by word. It sounds a lot worse than it is.
It sounds a lot worse.
It's very cute.
I had a fun time.
If you have Disney Plus, I recommend giving it a watch this Halloween season. It's cute. You're gonna have a good time. But the only reason we're saying it now is because these are the things that, after watching it, occurred to me.
Yeah.
And made me just kind of go, what?
Why didn't they do that? Oh, man.
You're really going to retcon Satan out of here.
I see. First of all, you can't retcon Satan out of here. I need Satan in this movie. Second of all, I am now just thinking, if they just had Gilbert be evil and they just twisted it a little bit, that would be so cool if he like tricked them into doing the spell for him.
And then he took over the magic of Maxima. And then they had to put him down.
Yes. And then you can still have the ooh, the Sanderson sisters are kind of nice because they helped save the day or whatever. I don't fucking care.
You could even have a moment when like let's say in this magical world where we're rewriting it and we're on the script team.
I know. I always do this. And I'm like, McCall, you're not changing anything.
What if we get to the point where they partially cast a spell and now Sarah and Mary can also do the lightning stuff and everything. And the young girls are starting to learn their magic and stuff like that. And then Gilbert swoops in and finishes the spell himself, gaining magic of Maxima. He loses whatever the fuck he wants to lose because
I don't care about that. Shit.
But, and then they have to, and then that's kind of like a moment where maybe either Sarah or Mary gets really hurt or something. And then Winifred realizes that her sisters are what's really important to her. Whoa. And not this power. If you really want to go this like Disney, everything so sweet route. Yeah. And then she has to fight him back to protect her sisters. And then maybe if you really want to do that, it's like maybe they take in these girls and then they all learn how to suck children's souls out of their bodies together. Because that's
Disney.
It's from Satan.
God damn it. Yeah, so I think it's worth a watch.
Yes.
But
tell us how you would have taken this. How you would have taken Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? What do you want? Something different. Do you do this with movies?
If you really liked it to the point where you're like, I don't understand what anything you're saying, I would love to. I would love to like.
Did you like
thoughts.
Becca as a character? Did anyone relate to that bitch?
I didn't like any of them. I didn't like any of them.
I thought Izzy was trying her best.
Izzy was probably the most likable out of all of them.
She was the most likable. Her lines were really corny to me.
Yeah.
And that was not her fault. And I think she actually did a really good job with what she was given. And Cassie was just kind of there looking confused.
Cassie barely spoke the entire fucking movie.
She didn't speak a lot, no. But she was there.
And then Becca was kind of a bitch the whole time. Then she gets phenomenal cosmic power for no reason. Not because she's a nice person or because she sold her soul to Satan, but just because I guess she's
born with it. She's the lucky
few. That's the thing. It's like her and her friends also went to the sacred, forbidden bullshit forest. Why didn't they get fucking powers too?
I hate it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's fine. But yeah. So yeah, I think we fucking did it.
Yeah. But
we might get this out before Halloween.
I know that we're sounding like it wasn't good.
We're sounding a little negative.
Little negative. It's just because we like the original one so much.
Yeah.
That this one just kind of went to that whole first one.
Something I felt really gets my goat is with Disney's infinite money, they still can't buy a good fucking script. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Fucked. They can't hire good people anymore.
I don't get it. Like, Brendan and I talk about the new Star Wars movies all the time. And I'm like, they could have been good. Disney has so much money. They have more money than anybody. And they just made the worst shit ever. And I hate it. And they did it to Hocus Pocus.
Charlie said that they Boba Fetted Winifred Sanderson. Where I think in one of them where he's like going to be like, I'm going to be a good crime lord. I'm going to take out Jabba and be a good crime lord. And I'm like, are you also going to sell your soul to Satan? Like,
Yeah.
it's like a good crime lord. These are an oxymoron, friend.
What are you fucking talking about? Yeah. So that's fun. I don't know, but some people really eat that shit up.
True. So I do think we have a sibling story to tell.
Okay.
I would like you to tell your audience about how your weekend went.
I had a friend's wedding that I went to.
You were the maid of honor, right?
I was not.
You were a bridesmaid.
I was a bridesmaid. I was one of the bridesmaids, and the venue was beautiful. It was super cool. We were there pretty much the whole day, setting up, getting the pictures, all the fun stuff. We did it outside, and it's Minnesota, and it's cold. So I was a little chilly on the rooftop. But then we all came inside and had a fun time. And
some might argue a little too much
fun. Some had too much fun because McCall doesn't remember what happened. And then McCall had to be taken out.
I've only had half of 4 bottles of wine.
I've only had half of 4 bottles of wine. Yeah, so I had to be carried out of the
Literally,
fucking
our
wedding.
father had to like firemen carry her out.
So that's good. As my husband's like, oh my God, my wife is dying. And I don't know what the fuck, I don't know what happened. I was doing great.
Until you weren't doing great.
Until immediately I don't recall any of this. So it's all hearsay. I think I was wonderful the whole night and a delight and a treat. So there's no video evidence of me passing out or vomiting anywhere. So I'd say hearsay, slander, libel.
Yeah, you hear it and you say it.
All I know is it was a great wedding. I had a lot of fun. And I got to see a bunch of friends from college that I don't get to see. Brian, I'm talking about you!
Brian!
His friend, Amazing Pat, is he's the one that edits our videos. And then
legend, icon, star, Amazing Pat.
I met him through Brian from college, and it's full circle. Here we are. Whoa. So, yeah, that was my weekend. I had to take all of Sunday to recuperate because I almost died. So, yeah.
Mom called me at like 10 o'clock in the morning where she was like, hey, how are you doing? We want to figure out stuff for your birthday. Also,
guess what?
Guess what your sister did?
Your sister's an idiot. She was an idiot. Oh, she was an idiot. Oh, so much shame. But yeah, so if you want to follow us to hear more of our amazing, shameful sibling stories, or if you
would like to share your amazing, shameful sibling stories.
Yeah. Do you get drunk with your siblings? Do you have a funny story about puking on your sibling or some weird shit? I don't know. You've heard ours. I'd love to hear yours. But we are, sorry, we changed our name and I totally forgot what it was. We are
great.
The Living Scary Podcast, and we are on Twitter as Living Scary Podcast. And if you want to go on our email, what the fuck? If you want to send us an email, sorry. Oh, McCall. Oh, I gotta find it. Okay. Our email is livingscarypodcast@gmail.com. We're Living Scary Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, and Living Scary on Twitter. That's our handle.
Yay.
So I think I'll take us out by saying,
I have one.
Fuck you. Okay, you do it.
No, what are you gonna do?
I was gonna do book.
I was also gonna do book.
All right, good. Together then.
What you gonna do? It's gonna be in different keys, and it's gonna be a mess.
No, I think we should try to harmonize.
Okay. Boot.
God, that was so off.
I think I did good. You were a little off.
I think I did good. Thanks.